Let me show you how to make the best fighter in Starfield. This is a complete shipbuilding guide with walkthrough, and she's so awesome I like to call her the Destroyer of Worlds. She is extremely deadly at long range, and well, if you ever get close to her, it's gonna be the last thing you ever do. Let's jump right into the shipbuilding guide. You'll want to head over to New Homestead on Titan in the Sol system. When you get here, just hit up the ship services technician and ask to modify one of your ships. I absolutely love turning any of my ships in my fleet into a new ship via the shipbuilder. Let's quickly delete all the parts except for the Nova Galactic landing bay. Under the 2x1 halves, we're going to grab the workshop and snap it right to the landing bay. We're going to grab another 2x1 variant. This time it's going to be the science lab, and you're going to snap it right to the workshop. Grab a 2x1 living quarters and then snap it to the workshop. This time you're going to hit up the 2x2 variants. What you're looking for is the battle stations, and you're going to snap that right to the very top, doesn't matter which side. You'll have just enough room to add another 2x1 on the top. You're going to want to grab the control station. For ease of access to your loot, you're going to want to take this galactic armory and snap it to the bottom deck. This way, as soon as you zone into your ship, you can just basically run right in there. At this point, you can grab any other 2x1 you feel like adding. I'm going to add the computer core because, I mean, what starship isn't complete without a computer core? Let's grab the beefiest cockpit. This gives us access to level 1 and 2. As for fuel tanks, we're going to grab the 900T hydrogen fuel tank. This thing holds 650 fuel. The grav drive you're going to want to get is the JS52. It is the very best of the best. Snap your SF-40 reactor to the very back of your halves. Cargo is pretty important to any ship build, although if you're going to go with a pure fighter, you don't want to add too much of this. So we're just going to add 2 of these 40T hauler cargo modules. We're going to add 1 to each side. Definitely don't want to screw up your ship's mobility with too much cargo. Nova Galactic has a really crappy selection of Docker modules, but at least we're actually going to use this one this time. Time to add some engines. We're going to grab these DT60s and we're going to get 2 of those and just kind of set them off to the side for a second. We're going to grab our 2 main engines, the DT230s, and snap them right to the reactor, and then take the DT60s and snap them to the engines. As for shields, I'm going to go with the SG-1800. It's a pretty daggone good shield, and then we're going to snap it to the back of our halves. Time to do a little structural work. I'm going to be adding a lot of these cowlings here, which most of them are just for looks, but I'm also going to stuff a bunch of weapons on them as well. Once I get done adding all the cowlings to the front, I'm going to mirror them and add them to the back as well, because it really does make this ship build look like so much better, And if I'm ever going to die in this ship, which is highly unlikely because it's so awesome, I want to be the best looking corpse out there. Structural pieces really add flair to your ship designs. They don't weigh a lot of mass, but you don't have to have them if you don't want to. I just prefer to make my ships look relatively cool just because it doesn't weigh that much more to do this. When you grab your landing gear, get these NG20s and make sure you get the wide variant. We're only going to need 3 of these for this ship build. You can pretty much slap them anywhere you want, even if it doesn't make any sense, but I'm just going to basically go for a tripod format. Kind of looks really good with this build. Every time I grab weapons, I can't really help myself. I always grab these PB300 alpha beams. Oh my goodness, do they totally and completely destroy ships. We're going to grab 4 of those, and we're just going to stick them randomly on any one of the weapon mounts. We're going to probably change things around later. My second weapon of choice is either the Gauss Cannon or these Disruptor Alpha Beams here. They are totally awesome and have a ridiculous amount of range. You won't find these everywhere. I think you can get those in Alpha Centauri, but I know they don't have them at my next shipbuilding location where we're going to be going to here in just a second, so I'm going to snag them now. We're basically done here at the Nova dealer. All we have to do now is just assign our weapons to the ports. Then we're going to finalize this build and head over to our next build location. You'll now want to head over to any one of your base locations. I'm going to head over to Venus because that's the closest base. Just make sure that you have an actual shipbuilder's control console landing pad. That way you can modify your ships here. First things first, we're going to take these disruptors off and then just kind of set them off to the side. Time to create some wings on our fighter, and I really like these Stroud engine mounts. We're going to add 2 of these to this side, and then we're going to copy it and add 2 more to the other side. This will be our superstructure for the cowlings that we actually add to the sides that we're going to be adding all of our weapons to, and I actually like it because it kind of makes it look like a Klingon bird of prey, you know, kind of if you squint your eyes. Let's now add all of our disruptors to the wings. Oh yeah, she's starting to come together. Let's make this ship build look a little bit better by adding these Taio side caps. I mostly want to cover up my gas tank as well as my grav drive. Time to add 2 portholes on this side and the other. Now I really like these portholes. I'm telling you, I spend a lot of time on the bottom deck of my ship and I love looking outside. You don't really need to add these thruster arrays to both sides, but you know, if you don't have 69 pieces of flare, then your ship's not going to be win. And last but not least, let's add 2 of these 200 cm shielded cargo ballasts. So we're going to add them right to the back landing gear. Painting your ship is super easy. Just double click any of the pieces and it'll highlight red. Then you can change it to whatever color you want. There we go, build complete. Absolutely love this ship. It is so compact, nice and small, super fast and maneuverable, as well as has a ridiculous top speed when you're boosting. You can also stuff 8 crew members in this ship, and she even has a 30 light year jump range. Let's head inside and do a walkthrough of the interior. When you load into your ship, the very first thing you're going to notice is, well, all your workbenches are literally right here, and I'm always really big on using workbenches, so I always have them on the bottom deck. Now this back room here, this is where you're going to store all your loots. When you're standing on the hatch, if you look left and go through this hallway, well, you're going to find yourself in the pharmaceutical lab as well as have access to your research terminal. Through the door on the other side, you're going to come into the eating area, which actually has a cooking station as well as a whole bunch of chairs to chill in if you feel like chilling. Let's head up to the cockpit. Now when you put one of these gigantic cockpits in here, you're going to have this staircase, and when you have the staircase, it actually tells the game not to add any ladders anywhere, which is totally win. The first section we're going to enter into is the 2x2 battle bridge. Now this thing adds 6 crew members to your ship, and it's basically required if you want to have a bunch of crew members here. Definitely want to keep in mind that crew member bonuses stack with your bonuses even though they're different, so definitely stuff a bunch of crew in here. This last section is the section you can pretty much add whatever you want, although I did add a computer core in here which adds 1 more crew member. Let's quickly check the cargo hold and see how much she can carry. Now keep in mind I have level 4 in cargo, and she can hold over 4,860. That's before I add any crew members. Let me go show you just how brutal she is in combat, and I'm going to show you my go-to place in order to get level 4 piloting skill. We'll be hitting up the Serpentis system. This is on the far right hand side of the map, and it's the very first time I've been here in this Game Plus universe. If you've already progressed past the Vanguard flight simulator and didn't take the opportunity to max out a bunch of skills, this is definitely going to be where you want to go. Pretty much every single time you grav jump into Serpentis, well, you're going to be greeted by a whole bunch of bad guys, and unfortunately for these bad guys, they're a little bit too low of a level for this ship, so they're just going to get evaporated like instantly. This ship's a little higher level, and I'm still kind of getting used to having 100% mobility, but yep, deleted. Let's try this in third-person mode, even though I kind of suck at it. I just want to see my ship beating everybody down like red-headed stepchildren. Now, if you can't fly a C-class ship yet, that means you can't really build this ship either, so come here with the best A-class you can possibly muster and just stomp a mud hole in all these pirates. It doesn't take long to get level 4 in piloting. As far as ship design, well, that takes no time to get to level 4. It is worth mentioning that some of these ship parts do require you to be level 60, you want to be level 4 in piloting, and definitely level 4 in ship engineering, as well as design. I hope you enjoyed this shipbuilding guide, which shows you how to build the very best fighter in Starfield. Thank you for watching.